Looking for planet X-Nibiru. Can people already see Nibiru? The following article is quoted from an archived New York Times article. It was dated July 1st, 1987. According to NASA scientist John Anderson, if a large planet is located at the edge of our solar system, it should travel in an elongated orbit almost at right angles to the orbits of other planets. According to him, such an orbit will bring the planet closer to the rest of the solar system only every 700 to 1,000 years. Dr. Anderson voiced this new hypothesis about the possible existence of Planet X at a press conference at the Ames Research Center in Mountain View, California. The center manages the flights of the Pioneer 10 and 11 spacecraft, which are now more than 4 billion miles away from the sun on courses that will ultimately deliver them to interstellar space. Astronomers have long searched for Planet X to explain amazing observations showing disturbances in the orbits of Uranus and Neptune. These vibrations indicated that some large distant objects had a gravitational effect on known outer planets. The search led in 1930 to the discovery of Pluto, but it turned out that it was too small to disrupt the orbits of Uranus and Neptune. After two Pioneer spacecraft flew over Jupiter in 1970s, they were sent along a trajectory beyond the boundaries of known planets and monitored to see if they were exposed to an invisible gravitational force. Small space stations almost do not produce their own gravitational forces, so they are sensitive indicators of any distant gravitational perturbations. Dr. Anderson said that for 5 years of accurate measurements and analysis, he did not find anything in the Pioneer data that could reveal gravitational effects that cannot be explained by the forces of the famous 9 planets. In fact, according to Dr. Anderson, a review of astronomical data over the past 75 years has failed to provide clear evidence of such disturbances. But the observations of the 19th century, which caused subsequent speculation after careful study by astronomers at the U.S. Naval Observatory, were confirmed. That is, something affects the orbits. Dr. Anderson concluded that the apparent presence of some power in the 19th century and its absence can now be explained by the existence of a large object, which is now at a great distance from the sun, approximately opposite Uranus and Neptune. At the best explanation, Dr. Anderson said, is that the object is in orbit tilted at right angles to the orbits of the other planets. Thus, in the last century, it crossed the plane of other planets and is now located far from the plane in its elongated orbit. And according to this hypothesis, the object could be 5 times more massive than the Earth. If it were more massive, the presence would be detected. If it were less massive, the strength would probably not be large enough to push Neptune out of orbit. The hypothetical Planet X also figured in the assumptions about the cause of mass extinctions on Earth, which apparently occur regularly every 26 million years. Daniel P. Whitemire, an astronomer at the University of Southern Louisiana, suggested that Planet X could follow a course in which every 26 million years it perturbs a cloud of comets in the outer solar system and thus sends destructive meteorites to our Earth. We do not support this theory as a working hypothesis, Dr. Anderson said in a telephone interview, but we do not refute this either. In 1987, Dr. Anderson, speaking at a press conference at Ames Research Center, thwarted a round of applause, but after 30 years, such statements are not perceived in the same way. Meanwhile, everything is easily explainable and falls well into place. The fact that something else was detected at the edge of the solar system by astronomers back in the 19th century, and the observations of these people were confirmed not by a YouTuber but by astronomers at the U.S. Naval Observatory. And what do the supporters of the new chronology say about the 19th century? They say that the historical events until the 19th century were sucked out, and that the fact several centuries ago that was some kind of disaster, after which people began to dig out the silt of the clay and build civilization from scratch. But after causing this catastrophe, Nibiru did not evaporate. It moved on the same course, where Uranus and Neptune moved slightly, which was noticed by astronomers of the 19th century. Then Nibiru moved further, and the effect of influence on the planets just disappeared. There were only asteroids that were turned upside down, which revolve around the sun, not like everything else, but in perpendicular orbits. And now Nibiru is approaching again. The direct descendants of those who survived the past cataclysm and retain technology now obviously just rule the world. They know exactly the date of the next pass of Nibiru. Therefore, on the eve of this date, a command was given to do away, not talk about the topic. And if in the middle of the last century astronomers wrote scientific articles about Nibiru, now no one will pickle that so that they don't understand, they don't consider him a fool. Nevertheless, although the apocalypse has almost come, Nibiru is not very visible. Why not? It's not visible because some kind of people perhaps use aerosol spraying with special composition, absorbing light of a certain spectrum. June 14th, 2020, Weihai Shandong of China said, but despite these titanic efforts, Nibiru can still be noticed just by a mask of a welder or looking at the sun through special glasses. That, in other words, is coming from the direction of the sun. Thus, the person shows the whole procedure live. The fact that this is not a glare is obvious. Whoever wants to can repeat everything. Whatever does not, who doesn't want to see it, let him believe after seeing the message on this video. Apparently, we will be able to see it soon enough. And there's a video embedded in the article here. This is from Solask. Please leave your comments. Thank you for your support. Support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.